Hey everybody, Chris Maricos here with another video, and this video is all about defining your niche. Yeah, some people pronounce this word niche, and some people pronounce this word niche. I say niche, so let's jump right in. First of all, a lot of people come to me and they ask me about starting their own business or teaching independently online. And one of the first things that they need to do, and one of the first things I advise them to do, is to choose a niche, to specialize. And choosing a niche seems like a very simple task, and it's one of the first tasks that we need to do before we really start our business, because before we take all of the other steps, we need to know which direction we're moving in. We need to know what we are targeting. And in order to do that, we need to know some particular aspects of the groups of people that we're targeting, the groups of concepts and ideas that we're targeting. We need to know about what kinds of products we might offer and what we might create. So it's really important to take this first step and really understand what our niche is. So first, we should think about something that I call the niche target audience dichotomy. Niche and target audience always go together, because a niche is the area that you're specializing in, and that specific area always has a certain type of person or group of people who are interested in buying those kinds of products, who need those kinds of problems solved. For example, if you're a doctor and you're just a general practitioner, then you're not going to make as much money as a brain surgeon. And a brain surgeon probably is going to work less, get paid more by the hour or for the work that they do, and they're just going to be a lot cooler at the hospital, right? Everyone's going to know, oh, that's the brain surgeon guy, not just that's the general practitioner. And so the brain surgeon actually doesn't have any kind of business that they do with all of the other operations in the hospital. They just come in for one specific thing, for a handful of operations. And that's what you want to be. You want to command this certain sphere of expertise that is your niche. And when you've done that, you'll see that there are certain people that come to you for specific things, for looking for specific solutions to specific problems, and that's your target audience. And we need to know who those people are in order for us to create the correct solutions to the correct problems, so that we can connect ourselves to them, and so that we can create sales from helping people reach the goals and solve the problems that they want to have solved, right? So the first thing to think about is the niche target audience dichotomy. When we find our niche, we're going to have a good idea about who our target audience is as well. So how do we define a niche? Most of the people who come to me are really confused about this, and it's not confusing. It's not difficult. I'm going to break it down in a very, very simple way right here. So first of all, we need to think about what people want. What do people want? So for example, if people tell you, I want to practice speaking, right? If you're teaching them a language and they say, I want to practice speaking, I want to have speaking lessons, then you know that you could offer speaking lessons, and this is maybe something that they would buy. And that's the second classification, is things that people will buy. If you tell them, sure, I'll teach you one lesson, but it will cost you $1,000, then people probably won't buy that. And it doesn't matter how much other stuff you throw in there. It's going to take a long time to convince them, or it's going to take a lot of value. You'll have to communicate a lot of value about your product or your lessons or services in order to get them to pay this kind of price for one lesson. So in general, we could say that people probably won't pay for one lesson that costs $1,000 unless it's going to completely change their life, right? So these two different factors have to balance each other out. It's not that people just want something so they buy it. It's that we have to decide and find out what people want and what they will buy. And then there's a third factor, which is things that you know or that you can easily learn. So maybe you don't know how to make a person fluent in a language in 10 days. Can you learn that? Well, this example isn't realistic, right? It's going to take much longer. But if you could learn that, then this would be a great offer, right? So what we want to do is we want to find things that we can learn or things that we already know. Of course, if we already have achieved some level of expertise in a specific sphere or niche, then that's going to give us an advantage and we can play to our advantage. So typically, I recommend people going in that direction where they already have an advantage. It doesn't make sense to start from zero when you're already past zero in another area, right? In another niche. So typically that's the niche and that's the direction that we're going to go into. But sometimes it happens that a person has spent a lot of time becoming an expert in one area, but people aren't willing to pay for that, or people don't really want that. And one thing that we always have to remember when we're choosing a niche and when we're targeting our audience is that it's not about what we want. It's not about what we like. I'm saying the teacher or the independent teacher, the business person, the person who's starting a teaching business or going independent. It's not about what we want. It's about what they want. And it's not even just about what they want. It's about what they'll pay for and what we know or can easily learn. So the combination, the overlap of these three factors is what is going to really help us define what our niche is. Now, also, we tend to talk about specific demographics when we talk about our niche and our target audience. For example, we might say, I teach English to Russian speakers, or I teach English to Portuguese speakers, right? So we could say, depending on what kind of language they speak, I'm going to approach teaching them in a different way. Or I'm going to do something special for this specific group of people. Or we could say that because of the language they speak, they're in a different group than all others. So this is one way that we might try to define a niche in order to make it less broad and more specific. Another way that we might identify specific characteristics or aspects of a target audience group is we could say, people who work in a specific profession. We could say all bankers. I teach English to bankers, right? And then when we target this group, we're going to see that they have different problems than people who are learning English just for traveling. And when we identify these specific problems that are specific to this group of people, voila, we have found the place that we can specialize and we can excel very quickly. Because when we focus on this specific area, we can become the best in the world very quickly. There's not a lot of competition out there. But when we're very broad or very general, it's very difficult to become the best in the world because everybody is competing in this space. So when we talk about different demographics, another example is we could say parents, right? Parents of children who are studying English. This might be a target audience group. It might be mothers. This could be a target audience group. It might be people who live in a specific location, right? Maybe it's not all the French speakers, but maybe it's only people who live in France. So these are different ways that we might narrow down who we're targeting in order to be more specific and in order to address the needs of that particular group. Now, the last factor here, the last question that a lot of people come to me with, and they say, okay, Chris, I understand how my niche and my target audience are connected. I understand I need to focus on something that I know so I can become an expert quickly, or and something that people will pay for and something that people want. I understand, and I think I have a good idea there. They say, I've targeted a specific demographic. Okay, but my next question is, how big should this group be, right? Because all of the experts on the internet, all of the coaches out there will tell you you need to have a niche and you need to have a target audience and you need to specialize, but they won't tell you how specialized it should be. How specific should this be, right? So we don't want to be too general. We want to be specific, but how specific? Here is how you can figure this out. You probably can't see it on the board with the glare and everything like that, but I'll explain it to you quickly. So generally, I suggest that you try to target a group of people that is about 1 million people strong, 1 million people large. So a target audience group of 1 million. 1 million is not too small and it's not too large. And typically, we can target them with a product that is on the high side, that's on the expensive side, something around $500, $1,000, or even $2,000. If our target audience group is about 1 million people large, then we can target them. And we know that if we only sell to 1% of that group, then we're still going to be profitable. We're still going to make money. So, for example, if we have a target audience group that has 1 million members worldwide, and we only sell to 1%, that means we only sell to 1,000 people, and our product costs $1,000, well, we've just made $1 million. So you can see that it's completely realistic for us to actually achieve this, because out of 1 million people, maybe only 1% can afford the thing that we're offering. Now, can they afford it? Can they pay for it? And will they pay for it? That's a question that we've already visited, right? If we're targeting a specific geographic location where people earn much, much, much less than the rest of the world, then this is going to work a little differently. And probably that's not the best group that we should target with the product that we're offering. But there are ways that we can determine how large this target audience group should be according to the price of our product. So the next group or generalization, really, because this is not an exact science, right? These are just some suggestions that I'm giving you from my experience of building lots of online teaching businesses and also mentoring a lot of people who have started their online teaching businesses. So 1 million, this is really the sweet spot. However, if your product is even more expensive, if it's really high ticket, then you might want to specialize more. For example, if you have a product that's $5,000 or even $10,000 or more, then maybe you can target a group of people that's only 100,000. Right? Maybe this whole group only has 100,000 people in the whole world. One time I was working with a guy who was he was targeting competitive cyclers, and so there was only a certain number of people who try to reach these heights in their career to be a professional cycler and to compete. So he was targeting them with a very high priced offer, and we noticed that the group was much more specialized than I would usually recommend. It was smaller than I usually recommend. However, it works because the price is high, the group is specialized, and you're speaking directly to those people. You're solving something that is so special that, of course, they will come to you to solve that problem. You're really the only one out there doing it. And that's why you can charge a higher price, because it's unlikely that they're going to find another expert. Or if they do, there's not going to be, lots and lots of them out there. There's only going to be 1 or 2 or 3 of them. So this allows you to really, really take advantage of targeting a small group. Now, a lot of teachers who move online, especially those who transition from offline, they feel like they're not ready or not comfortable with charging a high price right from the beginning. And that's okay. I suggest that you do charge a high price and that you sell an expensive product, because it communicates a certain level of value and it pushes you to actually deliver on that value that you sell. And in my experience, that can push you, that can make you excel to even higher levels. However, a lot of people aren't comfortable, or they would like to start with a low ball offer just to get them in the door and just to get them a few clients. And that's fine, because psychologically, the juices get flowing when you get that first client or those first 10 clients for that low price. And so if your product is about $100 or less, then your target audience group might be even bigger than 1 million people. It might be 10 million people. And that's okay, because we need to get more sales and we need to make this process happen faster. And we need to reach more people with this offer because it's cheap. So really, when we talk about how big your target audience group should be or how wide the niche should be, this is also connected to what you're charging for your product. So I hope that this video helped you understand a little bit more about how to define your niche. Probably the biggest piece of advice that I can give you is remember that your clients or your potential clients don't always know what they should do in order to solve the problem that they have. And if you're an expert, that's what you're focused on. You're focused on solving problems, not just selling a product, but solving problems and providing value. And as the expert of your niche, it's your job to tell them what they need to do. It's your job to motivate them, and it's your job to push them in the right direction and give them the right mentality and mindset that they need in order to succeed and overcome this issue. So a lot of times clients or potential clients will come to us and they'll say, this is how I want it to happen. This is what I think should happen. And as an expert, I have to tell them, okay, I understand that that's your perspective. However, I've worked with thousands of people and they get results doing it the way that I suggest. How many people have done it your way? If you want, we can try it your way and we can see if it works. But why would we try something to see if it works when we already know that my way is proven to work? Because I've created a proven method for this to work, right? Isn't that what you would say to someone? Because you are the expert and they came to you for you to solve the problem. They came to you because they're not the expert and they need help solving the problem. So when you're determining your niche and you're targeting your audience and you start to see people telling you how you should be doing your job, take it as constructive criticism, go out and learn how you can do it better. But also remember that the client isn't always right. If they were always right, then they wouldn't come to you looking for help. So be the expert. Things that you know or you can easily learn. This is an important aspect of your niche and determining how you're going to work with your target audience. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful. If you liked it, press like. If you didn't, don't press like. Go ahead and leave a comment down below either way, and I'll read it. And I love constructive, criticism and feedback, and that'll be great. If you're watching this video on our website, leave a comment down below in the comments section under this blog. And I hope to see you in the next video. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.